Okay, hello everyone. Happy Wednesday. It's a full body day today, full body conditioning focus today. For equipment, we are keeping it very basic. You will want to put your shoes on, especially if you are going to be joining me on the higher impact or jumping stuff today. I have my 8-pound dumbbells, my loop bands. I will be giving you options with either or. And then besides that, we need our body and our mat, and then that is it. So we will start off with a nice warm-up before we get into our conditioning work, which will start at the end of the mat, standing hip-width apart, soft knees. We'll bring our hands down onto the floor, getting that stretch through the back of the legs, walking all the way down to the bottom. Once you get down here, we're just going to get into a plank, and then lift our hips up, walk ourselves up to the top, reach our arms above our head, and then give ourselves that nice side bend over to one side, over to the other side, and then we shall repeat that 2 more times. 3 total of these ones, where we're having nothing happening at the bottom, just that strong plank, back up to the top, and then we'll get that side bending action going on, right side and left side. Okay, so we'll get that going on 1 more rep. 3 of those total, taking our sweet time with them. Once you're done 3, we are going to go through 3 more, but a little different, back into that walkout. When we get to the bottom here, you're going to step in and open up towards that leg, close, back into the plank, other foot, open towards the leg, close, and then we'll walk back up to the top. This time when we get to the top, we'll still reach our arms up, but we are not doing any sort of bending. We'll just get right back into our second one, doing 3 of these total. And opening up towards that knee, stepping our foot as close as we can towards the hand. And taking our time. We'll go through 1 more of those. These ones shall warm you up as we go through them. There we are. All right, so we'll get 3 of those. Once you're done, we can turn around on our mat so that we have the mat behind us. We'll be stepping back into a lunge. The side that steps back, that one arm is going to reach up and over our head, and then we'll come back up to the center and alternate, and we'll be doing 10 of these total. So you'll feel an opening through the front and the side of the hip. Myself in a space here as I step back. Again, we're reaching just that one arm up and over our head, not forcing anything, just working with a bit of a stretch through the front. So we'll go through 10 of those total, 5 per side. All right, lunging. And then for the next one, you'll actually need some space as well beside you. We're going into another version of these lunges, but this one will incorporate an arm swing. So we'll be swinging the arms forward as we sit down into that lunge, and then we'll be standing and opening them up, going through this full body warm up here, doing 10 of these total. Again, trying to get those shoulders moving, a little bit of burning action going on in there. We'll work through 10. And you might have to turn sideways so you don't punch the wall. We'll get 10 of those total, alternating. And then we are heading down onto the floor for the next one, which is going to be in our all 4 position right here. We're working with a bird dog. So we want the shoulders over top of the wrists, the hips over top of the knees. We'll extend our opposite arm, opposite leg, and then we're going to put it down and lift up the other side. So as I lift up, I want to kick my heel towards the back wall, and then I'll bring it back in, heel towards the back wall. We'll go through 10 alternating reps. So right side and then left side. 10 of them, 5 per side. And then once you're done 10, don't go anywhere, because we have 1 more version of these bird dogs, a little different than that first one we're doing here. On the next one, we're going to be doing 1 side at a time. So we'll bring it in, kick it up. When we get up here, we'll reach everything out and away from the body a little bit, back into the center, and then we'll come back in, extending out, reaching them away, center, and go through 10 of those. So it's not too much reach. I go here, and then I'm just a slight reach with the arm and the leg before we come back in together, trying our best not to touch the floor between each of those 10 per side. So we'll get those going on. Lots of stuff going on here from core. We're getting some core activation work, the back of our hips. Okay, the whole back side is working. So we'll try to take it nice and slow. The goal here is to keep our body nice and still and avoid that shifting and tilting. Once you are finished, we are standing back up to the top. We have a couple more in this warm up. The next one's a side lunge, and this one's going to open up our inner thighs. We're going to step out to the side, shift our weight back over to one side, and then push ourselves up to the top, counting every one of these as one every time we return into the standing position, and we will do 10 of them, so 5 per side. So as I step out to that side, I'm trying to stick my butt out, keep it behind me, so I'm getting that opening stretch in that inner thigh, and then we want to use that bent leg to push ourselves all the way up to the top. So we'll get through 10 of those, 5 per side. There we are. And then the very final one that we are going to do in this warm-up before we start our first 2 exercises, we'll want to stand hip width apart in our feet. We're going to extend our arms above our head, soft knees, standing as straight as we can, pushing our hips back behind us, working with our overhead hip hinge. So I'm trying to just move through my hips, stick my butt out, pull my hips forward, going through 15 of these ones where I'm trying to, again, keep my arms lifted so that I never see my hands, okay? If you're seeing your hands, your arms are most likely not above your head. So we'll try to lock that in there, get these going on, trying to, again, move through your hips, not your back. So it's very important that you're imagining pushing your hips back rather than reaching your upper body down. Okay, so we'll get through 15. Once you are done, if you would like, you could grab a quick sip of water, but we are going to get you started on our first 2 exercises. So what we're going to work with to start off is our balance work. So I like to throw in a couple balance exercises at least once a week, and Wednesday is the day that seems that we have space for it. So what we're going to do is work with our single leg deadlift today. We'll be doing that in an overhead position. So that one we just did there, the 2 legs, hip hinge here, we're going to be doing this in a single leg version, okay? Trying our best to tap into the balance and not touch the floor between each rep with that standing foot, okay? So what we're going to do is stick you on a timer, so that way you do not have to think about your reps or counting or anything like that. We're going to be spending 30 seconds on each side, 3 sets total, consecutive sets, so there will be no time in between. I'm going to be your timer. I'm going to tell you when to switch sides. I'll be your beat for you. We're just going to be working off a running clock. So first off, what I want you to do is find something to hold over your head. What I'm going to use is a band, okay, this medium strength band here like this. You can also use, reaching over here, a towel, okay, so if you have a towel here, a water bottle, pretty much anything light. You can even use a light dumbbell, but I wouldn't suggest anything heavier than maybe 5 or 8 pounds, all right, because it's going to have to stay up there a while as we go through our set of these overhead single leg deadlifts. So I'm going to start this timer, and you are going to start your first set in 3, 2, 1, let's go. So we're starting that first set. For some of us, this is going to be pretty easy. I mean, not the most challenging thing in the world. So if you want to make it harder, then we'll try to hold those arms up a little bit stronger. And something that you can think about, okay, if you're really good at this one, is closing your eyes, all right? I wouldn't suggest that if you are already struggling here, but if you lock this in and you want to challenge yourself, something that you can try. And switch sides. So right away, we'll get over onto the other leg, and we'll try to do the same thing on this side. Woohoo, balancing, working with that overhead position the entire time. So we should never see our hands. And this is why I say if you want something a little bit lighter, you probably are feeling why right now, because your shoulders are going to be burning, because we are essentially holding our arms above our head the whole time. And we're going to switch back to the first leg right now. Okay, so second set, back to this first one, trying to go right into it. So as we start to get more tired, that's kind of the goal of holding our arms up in that position. Not only does it make the balancing aspect of this deadlift harder. But again, we're also incorporating that upper body, upper back, your shoulders into this. And that makes everything else harder as we start to get fatigued in there. Okay, so that is the method to this madness. And we're going to switch sides right now onto the second side. You only have to do one more set after this, and then you will not be holding your arms above your head. So that's something to look forward to right now. All right, so we'll breathe through this, trying our best to keep those guys up there, okay? You have to have 1 more minute, okay? And you're gonna switch back to the first side in 3, 2, 1, and we'll switch back last set. Okay, so again, trying our best to keep those arms lifted. I know your shoulders are on fire. It's part of the program, it's part of the deal. Okay, so we'll just try to breathe through that burn, because that is the burn that you can work through, okay? As long as it's not that sharp, stabby, pinchy pain, which I trust it's not. It's probably that dull, aching pain that's getting worse and worse as you go, like right now, all right? And switch sides. Last set, 30 more seconds of your life with your arms above your head, and then we can put them down and feel like they're still up there because they're going to be burning so much. Okay, so breathe through this. 15 seconds left on this timer, and then you can put your arms down. Okay, but not yet. Last couple reps. 5, 4, 3, 2, and time. Put that band down, take it off. Woo-wee! All right, so you can grab yourself some water. Shake it out, swing it out, okay, circle it out, whatever you want to do to loosen up those shoulders, because if you did that, what we just talked about there, this is burning, okay? So we're going to give ourselves a second. Movement helps to help disperse that lactic acid or that burning sensation you feel, which is why you see people kind of swinging out their arms, or I see you swing out your arms, because it just helps kind of feel better. All right, so what we're going to do now is work with our second balancing exercise, which is going to be us standing on one leg once again. This time we'll have an object in our hand, and we're going to try to pass that object back and forth with those eyes closed. So the eyes closed training is something that we have been incorporating into our programming for a few weeks now. We kind of go back and forth between it, but it really does help us improve our balance, which is why we keep coming back to it. So again, today we will want something to hold in our hands. You can use a water bottle, a phone. Okay, the weight will influence how hard this is. So if I use like an 8-pound or a 15-pound dumbbell, it's going to be a lot harder than using this cell phone right here, okay? But whatever you do, we'll try to find something to hold in our hands. Again, a towel, whatever it is. Stand on one leg right now, okay? I'm going to start this timer in 3, 2, and let's go. So you're standing on one leg, soft knee. We don't have that leg completely locked out. We want it soft. And then we're going to, again, try to shut our eyes. Once you can do that, whatever you're holding in your hand, we'll pass it to the right hand and then over to the left hand, while maintaining that balance on our leg, on our foot, preferably with our eyes closed. Okay, so we'll see what we can do here. Same idea, we'll have 3 chances, 3 opportunities. Okay, and switch sides. So you need to open up your eyes again, switch legs, find your ground, find your balance. Okay, then you can again close them, and then you can start to move your object, again, trying to mimic whatever you did on the first side. Now, for those of you who really do struggle with balance, what you can even do is not pass the object and simply just focus on trying to keep your eyes shut and holding your balance on that one leg. Okay, switching in 3, 2, and switch sides. So we're back onto the first side for our second set. So again, if this is not happening for you, okay, and I get it, because every day is different, and some of us, we really do struggle with balance. What I would suggest you do is, rather than touching this foot down and down and down, try to keep that up and find a wall or chair to lightly graze with your hand. Okay, 10 seconds left. Because the more we can stay on that one leg, the more benefit we're going to get. And switch legs. Okay, so second set. In theory, it should be getting easier as we go through our sets, because we're kind of waking up all those little muscles, those little stabilizing balance muscles that we have in our legs and our feet. In theory, not always though. Sometimes it just stays the same. Maybe it gets a little harder. We get more tired. Okay, one more set, and that starts in 3, 2, 1, and we'll switch back to the first side. We'll see if we can get this going on here. Okay, this is no joke. I know it sounds so simple, right? Stand on one leg, close your eyes, stay there for 30 seconds, but then you go to do it, and you're like, wow. All right then, that is much more challenging than it sounds. 10 seconds left. Okay, we have one more set on that other side, and then we are done the balance work. Woo-hoo. All right, and switch, last set, last side. This is it for this one. For the balance, the first 2 exercises on the timer. All right, so we'll work through this. 15 more seconds left for you to do your thing. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, and time. All right, open up your eyes, walk it off. Again, grab yourself a little bit of water if you would like. We are warm, hopefully. We are going to get you started on the conditioning part, the real part of the session today. So what we're doing today, we have 3 circuits or 3 supersets of these cardio-based exercises. Because today, I've already said this, the goal is all about our conditioning, our cardio, getting our heart rate up, and getting our lungs working. So what we're going to do is stick you on an AMRAMP timer, which is our acronym for as many rounds as possible. I feel like I have to, hopefully you know that by now, but I will always explain it in case you don't. So what we're going to have that timer set for is 10 minutes. So you're going to have 2 exercises, 10 minutes of time, and you are going to complete as many rounds as you can of those 2 exercises with a prescribed amount of reps as you can in that 10 minutes. Okay, once you're done that, we'll have about 2 minutes to rest, regroup, grab some water. I'll explain the next 2 exercises, and then we will do the same thing, 3 different supersets. Okay, so 6 exercises total. We're going to have them broken up into those 10-minute AMRAMP circuits or time frames. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the first 2 movements. The first one, nowhere near new to us, is going to be our squat jump. So we're going to be working with this squat jump 15 reps at a time. Now I have options for you guys today on these squat jumps. We can keep it as basic as just doing a regular squat jump like this. Your count is 15, okay? So if you have a feeling that that is going to be challenging enough, normal squat jumps, doing those for 15, then that's how you can do that. Low impact, you can just squat or squat and shoot onto your toes, okay? If you want to switch it up, you can do our squat to heel tap, all right? So this is going to be a bit more challenging. We have a bit more involvement in the legs. It's just an option. You don't have to do it, okay? But that's our first movement. So when I press start on the timer, that's the one you're going to start with. Second one is going to be our lateral bear crawl. So we're getting down on the floor into our bear crawl position. We'll have a count of 2 times there and back, where we're going to be in this position, walking down the length of our mat, all the way to one side, and then we'll come back, okay? There and back is 1. You'll do that twice. So hopefully that makes sense. And if it doesn't, it shall as we start, as we get moving on this timer. Okay, so 10 minutes of your life to these 2 movements, and that starts in about 10 seconds, okay? So get yourself ready. Take a couple deep breaths. 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Okay, starting off with those squat jumps. No beep, because it's just a running clock here, but you are doing your thing. 15, okay? 15 reps. So we'll try our best to land soft. Go through those 15. Then, okay. Oh, yes. So we'll try our best to get through the exercise as fast as possible. Although this next one here is kind of an anomaly to these other ones, because the slower you go in this bear crawl, the harder that it's going to be, okay? So I'm going to face this way just so you can see what's going on. I'm in that same off knee or all 4 position, and I want to pop off my knees, so I'm here. Opposite arm, opposite leg. We're going to walk us all the way down into the end of our mat. We're trying our best to keep this part of our body as still and as stable as possible, okay? So again, there and back is 1. You'll do that twice, and then Do it again and again and again for 10 minutes. Oh, yes. Okay. So your first few sets, I want to say your first like 5 sets, because you are going to get quite a few sets of this, because it really doesn't take that long to do these squat jumps and the bear crawls. But again, as long as it takes you, it doesn't really matter, okay, because you're on this timer and you can really make what you want of it, okay? I'm seeing my low battery thing pop up. Woo! There we go. We are plugged in, ready to go. Okay, so again, you can take rest, all right? I didn't really talk about rest, but there is an option to take rest, okay? So if you as you go through your sets, like I said, the first 3 to 5 sets, they're gonna be no problemo. They're just a mild problemo. They're gonna be challenging, but you're not going to be that tired yet, because we're still kind of fresh for these exercises from our sleep last night, from all of the above. And so as you go through them though, as we start to approach that 5-minute point, and you're only at 7.5 right now, okay, the 5-minute, 3-minute point, that's where you're really going to start feeling this, okay? You might not be able to go at the same pace that you're going right now. And I would prefer you, highly prefer you, to work as hard as you can and push yourself really hard in these squat jumps. Make these bear crawls as challenging as possible. Make everything so hard that you actually feel like you need to take some rest, okay, before you do your next set. So if you're feeling that way, if you finish the bear crawls and you're like, whoa, I need to take a second, that is a good thing, okay? That means you pushed yourself really hard in this set. So you can take some time and we'll grab some water. We'll try to limit that rest though. 30, maybe 45 seconds, but definitely less than a minute before we go into our next set, okay? So if you feel like that is something that's going to help you work harder, because that's why that option of rest is there. Because if you just go, you just push yourself and go and you just run, run yourself into the ground and push yourself as hard as you can, you're going to start to slow down in terms of your intensity and in terms of your technique. Everything's going to kind of start to break apart there. And so if you take that rest, that time to kind of regroup, you're going to have a stronger set. You're also most likely going to have a safer set, because you'll be more in control and, again, able to crank up that intensity, okay? So 6 minutes. This is going to apply to all of these exercises that we're going to do in these circuits, that same rest rule. Okay, so that's all I'm going to talk about. The rest, you guys can absolutely, make what you want of it. If you want to take a little bit more, a little bit less, but we'll try to keep it under a minute. Oh yeah. So in theory, anywhere between 8 even upward to 12 sets, okay? Because some of us will be able to complete these squat jumps and the bear crawls in less than a minute, right? Again, you have 10 minutes. So maybe you can push yourself to be able to do 10 sets. I know that sounds like a lot from our normal like 3 or 4 that we do, okay? But again, we're trying to get this all done right now. Once you're finished this circuit, then you are done these 2 exercises, okay? That's why we're doing so many sets of them. Okay, so we'll work through these ones. Squat jumps. All right, so we are officially more than halfway. Okay, we have 4 minutes and 40 seconds. So lots of time. You can get at least 3 more sets in, right? The bear crawl down here, although yes, it gets your heart rate up, okay, it does get you hot and heavy, which you can probably agree with by now, but we're also getting a lot of sneaky core work in this bear crawl, all right? When we're walking, when we're taking those opposite limb steps, and that's important that we're stepping right arm, left arm, right leg, not the same side. I have to think about that a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we want to try opposites. What you can, again, think about is trying to keep everything in here still. So if there was like a glass of water, an object, or a ball on your back, it wouldn't spill or roll off or fall, okay? Because we're keeping everything so tight. And I know it's going to be harder if you do it like that, all right? And you can imagine that if you go slower, of course, it's going to take you a little bit longer, but you're going to get more of that kind of underlying core work, and it's going to make you feel a lot more worked by the end of the set, okay? 3.5 minutes to go of these two. You know, these ones can be a little bit tedious. So again, if you're feeling like you've done so many sets, you just take a little bit longer in those bear crawls, and before you know it, you will be done. But not for 3 more minutes. That's the time we have left. All right. So we'll get through at least 2 more sets. Okay, pull on all the squat jumps, the bear crawls 2 more times if we can. There they are. Okay, conditioning strong. So now you're probably remembering what I said at the beginning about that last 5 to 3 minutes. Okay, this is where it really does start to get serious. Okay, everything starts to catch up to you. Your legs are starting to get tired. Okay, your brain is pretty much over these exercises already, but this is when it's the most important to really lock in and dial in and get these done as properly, as intense as you can. Okay, this is why you're here. Your goal is to get your heart rate up. So the more you can do that for yourself, the more benefit you're going to get after we're done the session, during the session, okay? Always. So let's try to push ourselves here. Less than 2 minutes. It goes so fast in everyday life. I know not so much when you're doing this stuff, but we'll try to get through 2 more sets. Okay, try to push yourself and see if you can do 2 more. This one, 1 more after this one. I think you can. It's not going to be easy. All right, 1.5 minutes. Let's get it. Breathing through that bear crawl. It can be very easy to hold your breath down there, but it does not help. It does not make it any easier. It just makes us a little bit lightheaded, so we'll remember to breathe. Okay, and on that squat jump, especially in this last set, you're going to need something to help you. Okay, remember that breath is your power. So every time you jump, try to exhale. Okay, between every single rep. See if that helps you jump a little bit higher. Okay, a little bit more intense. So we're not just kind of like, you know, going through the reps and, you know, cheating ourselves. We want to get your butt down there, 90 degrees, all the way up as high as you can jump. Okay, but of course you want to land soft. 45 seconds to get this work. All right, and then we are going to take that 2-minute rest round that I talked about at the beginning. And that is going to happen in 35 seconds, okay? But until then, keep going on these. Pick one, keep going through your sets, okay? Stay in one, whatever you want to do. 25 seconds, we need you to work here with us. Something along these lines. No resting yet. Okay, strong finish here. If you're on one exercise, just stay there. 10 seconds left. Get a few extra reps in this one. Woo, hopefully it's the bear crawl. 5, 4, 3, 2, and time. All right, nice work. So I have set our 2-minute timer now where all you're going to do is rest. So you can walk around, grab some water. Actually, you are not only going to rest, you are also going to listen to me explain the next 2 exercises, okay? But before you do that, just take some time right now, take some deep breaths. Try to calm yourself down a little bit, regroup, grab some water. We are going through our second circuit, our second superset. So this one, I think this is going to be the hardest one. I mean, everyone has their own, you know, opinion and beliefs on what is hard, what is easy. But if you were to ask me about it, this next one, so I put it in the middle so that we get it done. We're not having to finish or start with it. Okay, so the first exercise we are going to do is 10 athletic burpees. Of course, we have to throw these burpees in. The nice thing today is that they are athletic versions, but not the ones where we're coming down onto the floor. We're just going to put hands down, jump out, jump in, jump up. Okay, that's 1. And we are doing 10 of those. If you're low impact, you are stepping, woo, okay, without jumping, okay? 10 reps. So that's gonna be the one we are starting with. Don't start there yet, because you will have lots and lots of time to do those. Pairing with this one, we are going to again work with the distance of our mat to gauge our pace. We'll be going there and back 3 times on this one, doing either or a butt kick jog, this one, okay? Or if you want to make it a bit harder, you can work with your high knees, okay? So we're working with our lateral high knees or lateral butt kick. There and back is 1. You're doing that 3 times on this one, okay? So we did 2 times on the first bear crawl, 3 times on this one. All right, so questions? Hopefully not, because you're all muted anyways. We are going to get you started here. That was the end of our 2-minute timer. So we're starting off with those burpees in 5 seconds. So get ready, 10 of them in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Okay, timer started, so have you. Let's go. So we'll try to get through 10 as quickly as possible. Woo! 10 of them. The burpees. This mirror is kind of making some funky noises when I jump. Okay, so 10 total. Once you're done, you can stand up. And we're going to go into our butt kick jog. Okay, so this one, again, it really just depends on what you are going to work harder in. Okay, if you're really good at pushing yourself, okay, you can do the butt kick jog. But if you feel like you need something harder right off the bat, that high knee is going to be a lot more challenging because it takes a lot more energy to get those knees up into that position. If you're low impact, you can do either or. Okay, I would probably suggest the high knee march and across the length of the mat, and we'll try to work through that one. It's going to take you quite a bit longer. Okay, so you can work with 2 times there and back. You can go all the way through the 3 and just expect to get less rounds than those of us who are jumping. Okay, but again, the rounds that you get doesn't really matter as much. Okay, if you want to count them, you can, but we'll just try to work with whatever pace we got. Keeping in mind that same rule for our rest will apply to this one as well. Okay, the last one too. I will remind you, if you need to take any rest, we will do it after that butt kick jog. Once we've completed our laps, 3 times there and back, we'll take about 3 seconds, 4 to 5 to grab water, and then we shall do it again, which maybe you might feel like you need a little bit more on this next circuit, these next 2 exercises. Maybe. All right, 2 minutes in. Woohoo! About to kick on. There you go. So we'll work through as many times as we can. This one, it takes a little bit longer. So we will most likely get maybe 10 sets tops, okay, if you're really hustling for yourself. But we'll try to go for at least 5 to 6 sets if you want something to kind of work towards, okay? Some of us operate better if we have kind of a finish line or a goal in the back of our heads that we have to reach, rather than just kind of mindlessly working, okay? So we'll try to push for those 6 sets, maybe upward to 10, and anywhere in between is amazing. All right, you have 7 minutes left, so lap of time with it. Okay, so as we are working with either or, the butt kick or the high knees, we'll try to get those opposite arms, opposite legs going, all right? So we'll try to tap it in, lock it in so that we have our limbs moving together for either or, okay? Whether you're doing the high knees or the butt kick, get those arms going. And that is our coordination, testing, brain-body connection. Sometimes what you have to do is kind of start off a little bit slower, and then you build up your pace as you go. and then you can kind of have that coordination get faster and faster as you go through your set. Whoop, whoop. All right, so we'll get through just about halfway. There we go. Burpees. We are jumping for joy at the top. So I'm so happy to be doing these. Just over halfway there. There you go. All right. Got it. 10 of them as fast as you can. Okay, like I said on the last superset we did, I would prefer you to work so dang hard that you need to take rest over you to find like kind of like a one slow pace, and just kind of go the whole time. I'd rather you push as hard as you can. Okay, so you have to just take a second there to breathe. We'll try to channel that here in the last 5 minutes that we have on this circuit, on these 2 exercises. Okay, because that means you are officially halfway there. Yay! There you go. So we'll get through about 3 more sets if we can. Woo-wee! All right. Okay, so again, if you are low impact, you are stepping out. We'll try to get our butt down, step out, step in as close as we can towards our hands so that we can stand up in a squat rather than kind of rounding our back to stand up. Okay, this also applies to our normal ones. As we're jumping in and out, we want to try to get our butt down so we can kind of do a little sneaky squat jump coming out of that burpee. Okay, we don't want to stand up and then just jump at the top, because we're going to have much more power if we use our legs, because we know that the legs are much stronger than these calf muscles here. Okay, the ones that kind of hop us. So if we get down and jump ourselves up, then you're going to be more powerful. Yes, it's going to be harder, but that's what we want, right? Yes. 3.5 minutes. We got this. Nice work. All right. So we'll see if we can get 2 more sets. Not going to be easy. 2 more full sets. That's 20 more burpees. I know maybe that sounds like a lot, but you're going to feel so good once you are done this session today. If you push yourself in it, if we try again to do what we're here to do, which is get our heart rate up, okay, which is usually means we have to tap into that really uncomfortable feeling if we want to really push ourselves beyond what we normally do. And that's why we are doing stuff like this, okay? We're really doing a lot more than we normally would on our like 40-second rounds or even, you know, other times. 2.5 minutes, that's why you're feeling that way, quite tired and exhausted, okay? But that is what we want. So we'll try to just work into it, keeping everything as safe as possible, of course, and as intense as possible. All right, 2 minutes. So we'll get through 1 more full set. Ooh. Okay, technically you have time for 2, so you know, maybe you want to push yourself for 2 more. These ones really, you can go as fast as you can, as fast as you want to get through these exercises. The faster you go, the harder that they are going to be. The more quick, the more intense you are. That's what we want in these ones. All right, 1.5 minutes. There we go. Okay. All right, my friends, we have 60 seconds just over that, 1 minute and 10 seconds to go. All right, and it's time for you to do one more set of those burpees. Maybe get going on your last set of the high knees, whatever it is. Okay, you have 1 minute just under that to do your thing. Okay, so if you're taking rest, that's okay. But you do have time even to rest and to maybe work into your next set of burpees because they don't take that long, right? 10 burpees, how fast can we do that? Does not take that long. For most of us, about 20 to 30 seconds, okay? For the fit individuals who love the burpees, which I know is most of us, right? Maybe not. Okay, 30 more seconds though. We'll see if we can finish up our set of these because we know that they are good for us and our body is gonna feel good. Keep going in them. 20 more seconds. Woo! All right, my friends, 10 seconds left. And then we are going to take another 2-minute break. Okay, and that starts in 3, 2, 1, and time. Nice. Okay, so I have set our final 2-minute rest timer, okay, because we have only one more of these conditioning supersets that we are going to work through. Okay, last one. Hopefully that one was the hardest one and it's over with. The final one we're going to do is starting off with a single leg exercise. We're going to be working with our power takeoff lunges. Doing something a little different than we normally do though. We'll be stepping back into a lunge, pulsing, and then taking off into the lunge. So we're adding a pulse in between each of these jumps, working with 10 per side. Okay, so that's going to be the first one. If you're low impact, you are simply not going to jump. You're just going to drive the knee up and work with that same thing. Okay, so yes, we have a little bit of a leg burner to start off in that one. Pairing with this one, once again, we're going to use our mat, distance of the mat, working with our split jumps. Okay, so we know these ones, they are not the hardest things in the world, but they are as hard as you make them, all right? Which is why I like to incorporate them in so that you can really push yourself or pace yourself as much as you need. So we're going there and back once again 3 times total, arms and legs, okay, distance of the mat. There and back is 1, 3, and then we'll be back to the lunges. This is it, okay? 10 minutes of our lives on these 2, and then we are done. I'm gonna leave you guys with a couple quick stretches to go through, and then we'll be finished. So look at us go. But before we are done, we have to finish this last circuit, these last 2 exercises. This one has 15 seconds left on our rest timer. I'm just going to turn it off. Okay, and I want you to get yourself ready for these lunges because I'm going to start this timer in about 10 seconds. So again, we're doing 1 leg at a time, 10 of those pulsing jumps on 1 leg, 10 on the other leg. You ready? Well, ready or not? 3, 2, 1, let's go. Okay, 10-minute timer has started, so let's do it. So we're stepping back. We have this arm here. We're going to use opposite arm, lunge, pulse, and then take off. So the higher you jump, the harder it's going to be. Okay, again, if you're low impact, we are just going to drive that knee up rather than jump. 10 of them. Woo! On 1 leg. And then 10 on the other leg. Woo-hoo-hoo! Leg burner. Was not making that up, okay? It burns. But these ones are, so this one is a little different because it's going to take us a lot longer to complete each set. So we'll be aiming for at least maybe 4 to 6 sets on this one. At least 4 sets total. Because you might need to take a little bit more rest. We'll see once we're done both our legs and our split jumps, okay? Which we remember, we have to go 3 times there and back. So there and back is 1. We'll work with the length of our mat, thinking about more of these split jumps and less distance, okay? So we want more of those, less distance. If you're low impact, you can go over and back like this, okay? Again, the length of your mat's going to take you a little longer because they are simply just a little slower than our jumping ones, but it's all good. Finally warm enough to take the hoodie off. All right. So let's do it. We're already 2 minutes in, 8 minutes left on these last 2 exercises. Okay, so we'll get in our split jumps. And then we have the same rules, like I said, are going to apply here with our rest. Once you've done the split jumps, at this point of the session, you're probably just generally tired, okay? So we'll try to not think about that. But if you, again, are really needing to take rest, we'll do it at the end of the set when we're done the split jumps before we start again on those lunging jumps, okay? But we'll try our best to just go right into them onto our next set. And working with that pulse, that jump and take off. Anytime we have to move our body weight, the legs. Woo! There you go. That pulse there, I know it really does crank it up a notch to our normal jumping take-off lunges. It also kind of slows them down a little bit. Something nice, maybe. Okay, we have just under 7 minutes left on our clock. Woo, woo, woo. It's always this body weight conditioning work that is the most challenging, especially stuff like this where we have to like jump and try to leave the floor. There you go. So again, if you're feeling kind of out of control when you get to the lunges and like you are so tired that you can't really do them, maybe on your next set, once you've done your split jumps, just take a little bit more time, take a couple extra sips of water so that you can go into a stronger and safer set. Because you have 6 minutes left, which is lots of time. Okay, that's about time for at least 3 more sets. Yeah. Keep pushing yourself, which you should be. All right, so we'll get this going on again. 10 and 10, 3 times there and back. So as we're working with that pulse, we'll try our best to come all the way up so that our front leg is straight, but not completely locked out. So we want to keep that knee soft, back down, and that's when we'll take off into the lunge. So we want to make sure that we're not kind of missing out on that pulse or leaving the lunge from the top. We want to go up, down, up, and then take off from the bottom. Woo! Burning legs! 5 minutes left, which means you are halfway. Woo! Probably wanted to hear that you are almost done, but that is almost done when you compare it to an hour-long class. We are almost there. Okay, so this is our last few sets for today. These ones for our conditioning. So again, we'll try to get the most out of this session by pushing ourselves as hard as we can right now. The higher you push yourself, the higher you push that top end, that limit of how high you can get your heart rate, the easier everything else feels, and the more fit you are doing other things that don't push you so hard. Which is why we want to do that for ourselves. 4.5 minutes for you to make that happen. It's pretty easy to do on these, okay? You just gotta really give her as hard as you can. When we have the leg work involved with the cardio, the conditioning, I feel like it always just works a little bit more effectively for me personally. 4 minutes. Okay, so again, we're approaching that time in this 10-minute circuit where you don't want to do this anymore. Your body is tired. Okay, but this is the most important time. The last half, okay, even the last about 3 minutes, which we are approaching right now. We need you with us, working as hard as you can. Okay, so we'll get going on our last couple sets. There it is. I'm trying to get through the lunges and the split jumps as efficiently as possible We're only resting at the end of those split jumps if we need it. All right. 3 minutes. Okay, 3 minutes left. Can't do this in. So that's at least one more set for all of us. Maybe even 2. For those of you who want to get 2 in, we're gonna work as hard as you can. Okay, so we'll take some deep breaths. We'll go into our last couple sets. This might even be your last one, depending on how long these take you. We have 2.5 minutes, okay, until you are done. So we'll see if we can get that one entire full more set, okay, the lunges, both legs, and the split jumps in the next 2 minutes. Can you do it? I think you can. You are going to have to push yourself. It's not going to be easy to get this in. There it is. Okay. All right, we are under 2 minutes. Look at us go. Oh, these lunges, yes. So again, use your breath. Because if anything, we know that that breath is going to help us out when we are not going to make it, or when we think we're not going to make it. Sometimes that exhale is all we need with that exercise to get us going on in that movement. Okay, this is at the home stretch. We have 60 seconds left. 1 minute left, and then we are done. So same thing as that last circuit. Ain't nobody going to stop until this timer goes off, okay, until you hear the alarm that goes off. So I want you to keep working, and you can keep going through the reps on each of these, or if you want to just stay in your last one, in your split jumps, because you have 45 seconds to get it in. So if you want to just work for the last 40 seconds on whatever you're doing, that's all good with me, okay? But nobody stops, not yet. We'll have lots of time to rest when we are done this 30-second finish that you have right now. Okay, so don't think about it. Don't think about how tired you are, or even what you have to do after this. Okay, I want you right here, right now. 15 more seconds, split jumping your way. We're evening out your lunge jumps. That's what you're doing. Until the end, which is in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and time. Okay. Okay. So what I've done again is put that 2-minute timer on, and that is just for you guys. If you want to kind of time your rest, take another 2 minutes to walk around, breathe, try to calm down. Okay, let your heart rate come down. The most effective thing that helps that is movement. Okay, so not just sitting down or standing still, and taking deep breaths, not those shallow chest breaths, but trying to actually send that those breaths deep into like our belly and our lungs, rather than just shallow in our chest. So we'll try to get that going on right now. Hopefully you feel good. Well, you should feel good because you are done the Wednesday full body conditioning, which is usually the hardest conditioning. And it's a whole session of it, but we are done it. So what we're going to do is leave you with a few stretches that you can do that are going to feel good and help you sort of recover from what we did today, as well as over the past couple days. The first thing that I would highly suggest that you stretch is your calves, okay? Because we did so much jumping around. So you can find yourself a wall, lunge away from that wall like this, and then just lean forward, getting that nice stretch down that back calf. So we can do our calf. We can also, one we do often is our hamstring here, straightening out the front leg. So we can hold about 30 seconds here, and then about 30 seconds with the hamstring. Feel this in the front, back of the leg like this. Okay, and then you can switch sides. And again, forward for the calf, and then straightening out that front leg for the hamstring. And that one, definitely your calves, you should spend some time to stretch those guys out, but that hamstring one is going to feel nice as well. The other one that I would highly suggest that you do today is for your hips. So I would say let's sink down into this half kneeling hip flexor stretch. We'll get a nice pelvic tilt going, tilting our pelvis under, and then we can reach our arm above our head. We'll open up our chest, our shoulders, our hips, our core, the whole front of the body on that one side. If that makes the stretch too deep, you can put your arm back down. Okay, and I am holding on, so we don't have to think about balance. So this one, we'll hold this a little longer, about 60 seconds per side. And this is really, really good if you have a tight lower back or a sensitive lower back, if you've ever had kind of chronic lower back pain that kind of comes and goes. These guys are usually the culprits. Okay, not always, but they do play a big role in producing that low back pain. Because as they start to get tight, they start to get short, which puts us into that arch position in our back, which jams up all the stuff in our lower back. So if we keep these guys nice and loose, we're going to keep our pelvis rather in this position and more in that neutral straight position, which is crucial to preventing low back pain. And I would know because that happened to me for years until I went to physio and learned about the hip flexors and how they influence the back. And so that is why I'm constantly suggesting that we stretch these, and I'm talking about that low back pain because it does work hand in hand, okay? So anything else that you would like to stretch, now is the perfect time, okay? Because our body's nice and warm. If you want to work on that upper body posture, we can incorporate some of that chest and shoulder stretching in. And of course, any of those lower body stretches, your glutes, your low back, anything else you want to do, please throw it in. You guys are done with me. Thank you so much to Tanis and Dave for hanging out with me in the Zoom room. And if you're watching the replay, please drop a comment below so I know you did it. Hopefully you have a great day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.